Good morning. Welcome to day 4. So my plan, because this is kind of a dry area trail, was starting yesterday night hike to the next water, which is like 6 miles out. Packed up in about 45 minutes this morning in the dark. Skip breakfast. I've got it with me. It requires water, and I can add some later. Eat it if I want. Consolidated all my snacks for the next couple of days. And I'm out here just watching I was watching the moon set, watching the horizon get lighter and things light up. It's a pretty cool effect that I can't capture on camera, but the trail is lighter than the surrounding area. It almost looks white in this kind of twilight situation. So today's goal is 22 miles. That's going to mean over 4,000 feet of elevation gain and loss. So it should be a good challenging day. And I wanted to use all of it. Which is why I got up so early and got an early start. It's also going to be warm again. So I wanted to beat the afternoon heat as much as possible. Alright, get you some more images as the day gets lighter here. So I'd forgotten that there was a seasonal water source about a little over a mile from where I camped. And it said dry on far out, and I didn't remember that it had any water, because I was okay on water when I came through here the first time. But somebody had nicely arranged a leaf, thank you whoever you were, to get it to waterfall in a very miniature way, just so that you could fill up a water container. It was slow, and I didn't do all of it, but I had basically a liter and some change, maybe a liter and a half, liter 2/3, and I used it to fill myself up to 2 liters. And now I'm going to start drinking. I was kind of holding back a bit last night because I was limited to the water I had there dry camping. So get rehydrated, have some extra water. Still got a ways to go for the better water source, but that worked. So very thankful for that. And thanks to the person who created the waterfall so it didn't just look like a wet spot on the trail. Different perspective going southbound. This mountain is one of the more prominent features. I'm gonna go to the left up here and drop down, and then go into that valley. I took a lot of pictures there a couple days ago. Climb back up, drop into the next valley, way into the next valley, then down into the forest before coming back up. So a little more time in the high country, and then I'll be down low for a while, and then eventually back up into it. The sun is coming up, it's getting brighter. Alright, somebody camping over here. I'm going to be going down the valley. You may remember this from a couple days ago. Following the trail back up and then around into the next valley. Hoping to get as far as I can before the sun hits that ridge. Well, the top's starting to get a little bit of sun, so it won't be all in the shade, but I'm about to enter the shade and the climb has begun. Here comes the sun. Oh, at the top, I think it's gonna be a little smokier today. You can see a fire off in the Okanagan, the Pacific Wilderness east of here. You can see the trail really well because the shadows across it. That climb wasn't 1,000 feet, but it felt like it. Quite steep, and there it goes across the valley and up through Woody Pass in that notch off to the slight left. Well, with that morning workout complete, getting back into the shade, it's barely into the shade, but I'm going to be descending, so should be solidly in there for quite a while. Let's see, go way down, hit a forested section, then have another big climb. And just thinking, if I came from the lake today, I would have had a big climb out of there as well. That was one of the considerations in moving up to the ridge last night, and I'm glad I did that. The ridge, by the way, I'm just not used to my tent blowing in the wind very much. Somewhere in the middle of the night, I thought I heard footsteps around my tent. It was just the material. It's a Z-Pax tent. Makes kind of a strange noise. Just flapping in the breeze. Had it really well staked out. So that had me up for 20-30 minutes at one point. But otherwise, I had some pretty good rest. Several blocks of a couple hours, 3 hours. So it's good to get up, the crack of dawn, see the moon, see the stars, and work with the conditions, work with the shade this morning. So you can see that meadow down there. I'm going to be going through that meadow, descending the ridge on the other side of it, and ultimately going through that valley, and then gradually making my climb back up onto the ridge that's lit up in the sun, and then making my way along that ridge to Hart's Pass. That's going to be a hot climb, as you can see. It's going to be a long time before that's in the shade. So better to get there before it gets too hot. So I'm going to work on that. I pause briefly to take a handful of these blueberries right on the trail. I'll probably get one more before I go. All right, into the sun we go. Climbing will begin shortly as well. Getting down towards the bottom of this descent. Well, I filled up at this lovely little stream on the ascent. Back up that ridge I was pointing out. Mostly the trail has been in the shade. Starting to open up a little bit, of course it does in meadows, but there's a burn scar a little further up that'll be pretty sun exposed, but still early. It's 9 o'clock. I've done 9.88 miles, so 9.9 miles. Pretty good. Smells smoky today, and I think that's out in the Pacific. That fire somewhere over there where that smoke's coming from is part of it. Well, just topped off my water back to 2 liters. Trying to maintain that probably until the last water source. Then I'll be confident I'll make the trailhead, and I got a liter in the car if necessary. I would say my luck has run out when it comes to air quality here. First day was just, it was smoky, but today is pretty intense. So You can smell it in the air, you can see it in the woods, and you can see it just hanging in the valleys. But got more miles to do, another 10 to 11, so gonna keep hauling. Just came up another major climb. Just watching the wildlife up the trail. It's warm up here. Woo! Glad I filled up on some additional water down below. Warm, smoky. Yep. I wouldn't trade it though. I was debating this hike and another hike for this time period, and it turned out that there was just a window that wasn't too smoky that it looked like I could grab. And I did, and with the exception of today, which isn't really a big deal, it totally worked out. So glad I went up the ridge yesterday. Incredibly thankful for the views from 2 days ago. All right, moseying on. I don't know how many miles I've done right now. I was trying to look, but probably 10-ish to go. Well, it is helpful going back the way you came. So the trail is gonna come around here, go behind that, and then climb up and go in front of that ridge there. Oops. I think that might be the last major climb. There's a lot of up and down though. It is so hot out here. I didn't want to stop to film this, but it's a pretty cool view. And the breezes alternate between cool and wanting to bake you. You can taste the smoke. It's definitely one of those days. Passing by my campsite from night one. It was the moistest night of the trip in terms of dew. Well, thankfully, this valley is less smoky than where I was, which I think was kind of over in that valley over there. It's just, I think, trapped low. Just came up all these switchbacks and almost up to the top of this ridge. As I said earlier, I think this is the last major climb. It's sweltering out here. Definitely a challenge to stay hydrated. Coming to the top of the ridge here. Well earned. So after descending this ridge, you can see the trail down below, crossing, then it keeps going in the background, and it ends up going all the way around the back side. You see the fire tower? That is right above where I parked my car, sort of like straight down on the far side of that ridge. So definitely getting close. Woo! I'm gonna be glad to get the air conditioning going. All right, 17 miles by noon is definitely a record for me all time. At last look, I am under 6 miles to the parking lot and only had like 700 feet to ascend and 1,000 to descend. And that I only say only because those numbers were a lot bigger at the beginning of the day. Feels pretty good. I can do that. I'll show you something kind of cool that I saw on the way here that I don't know if that many people notice it. So in a little bit here, maybe half a mile, I'll show it to you. So down there in the valley, that appears to be a yurt in the woods off of a side trail that I just saw intersects the PCT. I didn't film it before because I thought coming up that might have been the PCT going by it, and I wasn't paying too much attention to the trail map at that point. But anyway, it's just kind of a cool little side thing. Off to your right, if you're going southbound, you'd have to be looking around. If you're going northbound, a little more obvious off to your left. You can see it for quite a while as you descend. Okay, that climb was pretty serious. don't know, I think it's the elevation, and just I'm tired at this point. You can see the trail going along the side of the ridge there. That little hump down at the end of the valley is pretty close to Hart's Pass. Well, I'm less than a mile out from the parking lot. I can see the car down there dreaming about town food and air conditioning and a change of clothes and all that fun stuff. That was a proper adventure. Thanks for joining me on another one of Charlie's hikes. I hope you enjoyed it as well. I'm going to be doing the next piece of the PCT from Hart's Pass south to at least Rainy Pass, if not High Bridge, which is near Stehekin. It's basically Stehekin, in a few weeks. So stay tuned for more. That'll wrap up the PCT this season. That's assuming there aren't fire closures or other things that might happen in the next few weeks. But for now, looking forward to that. And probably some shorter hikes as well the rest of the summer. And right now I'm looking forward to a liter of water. It's in my car too. All right. Thank you. That was a long one, and I had to shoot it twice. Whew.